The topic of ghosts often evokes images of shadowy figures, supernatural entities, and eerie encounters. It is a subject that has fascinated and unsettled people for centuries. Ghosts appear in many cultures, with mystical tales, folklore, and beliefs about spirits that have not yet found release. In Western culture, ghosts are often depicted as malevolent supernatural beings capable of harming humans. Whereas in Eastern traditions, stories of spirits are more closely linked to the principles of karma and rebirth. However, when viewed through the lens of Buddhist teachings, we encounter a perspective that is both profound and practical, one that shifts the focus from fear to understanding. Buddhism does not concern itself with affirming or denying the existence of ghosts in a conventional sense, but instead emphasizes the principles of karma and the cycle of rebirth. According to Buddhism, the world is not limited to what human senses can perceive but encompasses multiple realms of existence. One of which is the realm of spirits or peta, hungry ghosts. Rather than perceiving ghosts as terrifying entities, Buddhism explains that they are sentient beings undergoing the consequences of their past karma. Furthermore, Buddhism teaches that the existence of ghosts is not something to be feared but rather a natural part of the cycle of rebirth. The beings that people commonly refer to as ghosts are, in fact, living beings experiencing the results of their past actions. The peta realm is described as a state of suffering influenced by excessive greed and attachment. These beings do not have fixed forms but instead manifest according to their karmic conditions. Therefore, rather than dwelling in fear or superstition about ghosts, Buddhism encourages people to cultivate an understanding of karma, allowing them to become more mindful of their actions, speech, and thoughts. Additionally, Buddhist teachings address how one may assist these suffering beings. In many Buddhist scriptures, the Buddha emphasized that practicing generosity, engaging in virtuous deeds, and dedicating merits to the deceased can help alleviate the suffering of those trapped in the peta realm. Thus, instead of fearing or avoiding discussions about ghosts, Buddhism encourages the development of compassion and the act of supporting these beings through kind-hearted actions, charitable giving, and dedicated prayers. The essence of Buddhist teachings does not lie in explaining supernatural phenomena but in understanding suffering and how to transcend it. The Buddha taught that fear often arises from ignorance. When people do not truly understand the nature of existence, they are prone to confusion and anxiety. Rather than focusing on ghost stories, Buddhism urges individuals to develop wisdom so they can perceive reality as it truly is, thereby letting go of unnecessary fears and attaining inner peace. Through the practice of mindfulness and compassion, people become less influenced by irrational fears and instead develop the ability to help those who suffer, including spirits who have not yet found liberation. Thus, instead of perceiving ghosts in the frightening manner depicted in folklore or films, Buddhism teaches a perspective rooted in wisdom and compassion. By understanding the law of cause and effect, the nature of karma, and the impermanence of all things, individuals will no longer be afraid of supernatural phenomena. Instead, they will learn to live virtuously, accumulate merit, and assist other beings on the path to liberation. Buddhism acknowledges the existence of various types of beings, including spirits, but considers them within the broader context of samsara, the cycle of birth and death. One particular category of existence mentioned in Buddhist teachings is peta, commonly translated as hungry ghosts. These are not vengeful or wandering spirits seeking to harm humans, as often depicted in folklore, but rather sentient beings suffering the karmic consequences of their past misdeeds. Negative actions such as greed, selfishness, or causing harm to others can result in rebirth into this state, where they endure extreme hunger, deprivation, and prolonged suffering. The Peta stories of hungry ghosts, a collection of Buddhist narratives, vividly illustrates how karmic forces influence the process of rebirth. The Tirokuta Sutta in the Khuddaka Nikaya, minor collection of discourses, also discusses the phenomenon of deceased relatives being reborn as peta due to the karma they accumulated in their past lives. These beings exist in a realm of great suffering, unable to obtain nourishment on their own. However, Buddhist teachings emphasize that meritorious actions performed by the living, such as acts of charity, virtuous conduct, and the cultivation of compassion, can alleviate their suffering. This doctrine reflects the deep interconnection between the living and the deceased, reinforcing the importance of kindness and filial piety as essential aspects of ethical life. Buddhism does not encourage fear or superstition regarding peta but instead offers a rational and compassionate understanding of their existence. The teachings remind us that every action has consequences, and those who live with integrity, altruism, and mindfulness will not need to fear such realms of suffering. The focus is not on avoiding or dreading stories of ghosts, but rather on realizing that beings in these realms are not punished by an external force but are experiencing the natural results of their karma. With this perspective, rather than fearing invisible entities, we can develop compassion, offering prayers, assistance, and guidance to help them find a path toward liberation through the accumulation of merit. Furthermore, in many Buddhist traditions, offering alms and dedicating merits to deceased loved ones is an essential practice in spiritual life. Such rituals not only benefit those who may be suffering in the peta realm but also serve as a means for the living to cultivate greater merit, purify the mind, and develop wisdom. Thus, instead of being preoccupied with the fear of spirits, Buddhism encourages people to gain a deep understanding of the law of karma, to live ethically, and to extend support to all beings on the path to liberation from suffering. Many people question whether ghost sightings are real. Buddhism does not focus on proving or disproving their existence but instead emphasizes the role of perception and consciousness. The crucial issue is not whether ghosts exist, but rather how humans perceive and respond to such phenomena. According to Buddhist teachings, the mind has the power to generate illusions and subjective experiences, sometimes leading individuals to believe they have encountered supernatural entities. Meditation is a means of expanding awareness, self-exploration, and gaining deeper insight into the mind. During meditative practice, some individuals may experience visions that they interpret as supernatural occurrences. However, Buddhism teaches that these experiences are not necessarily proof of the existence of ghosts, but rather indications of altered states of consciousness. This does not mean dismissing all accounts of spirits or mysterious events, rather, it encourages individuals to approach them with wisdom and discernment. Throughout history, many Buddhist monks have reported encounters with peta, hungry ghosts, during deep states of meditation. These encounters often appear as symbolic visions rather than tangible beings. According to Buddhist cosmology, existence is divided into multiple realms, and the peta realm is one such dimension. The scriptures describe peta as beings suffering the consequences of past karma, not as wandering spirits seeking to harm the living. They exist at a different vibrational frequency than humans, making them difficult to perceive under ordinary circumstances. Buddhist teachings prioritize understanding the mind and its influence on perception. The goal is not to pursue ghostly encounters but to cultivate wisdom and compassion, ultimately leading to liberation from suffering. Whether ghosts exist or not, their presence should not be a source of fear but an opportunity for reflection on karma and the cycle of rebirth. Instead of fearing or avoiding discussions about ghosts, Buddhism teaches that we can confront fear through knowledge, mindfulness, and loving kindness. The existence of the peta realm is not merely a supernatural concept but a profound lesson on impermanence and the interdependent nature of all existence. It serves as a reminder that our actions, speech, and thoughts shape our present and future lives. What we cultivate in this life determines the state of consciousness and the realm we will experience in the future. Therefore, rather than worrying about the existence of ghosts, Buddhism encourages individuals to lead a moral life, cultivate wisdom, and nurture compassion, thereby freeing themselves from the endless cycle of samsara and suffering. The question of what happens after death has always been a profound topic, not only in religion but also in philosophy and science. Buddhism offers a unique perspective that does not rely on the concept of an eternal soul as an immutable entity. Instead, it describes a continuous flow of consciousness. According to Buddhist teachings, death is not an absolute end but rather a transition into a new state of existence, governed by each individual's karma. One's actions, speech, and thoughts throughout life, determines the conditions of the next rebirth. The Marana Sati Sutta, Discourse on Mindfulness of Death, encourages contemplation on impermanence to deepen one's awareness of the true value of life. This reflection helps individuals appreciate each moment, lessen attachment, and prepare for death with a tranquil mind. According to the Abhidhamma, higher teachings of Buddhism, one's mental state at the time of death plays a crucial role in the process of rebirth. Negative emotions such as anger, delusion, or attachment can lead to rebirth in lower realms, such as the peta, hungry ghost, realm, whereas states of peace, wisdom, and compassion lead to higher realms of existence. This highlights the importance of cultivating a pure mind, practicing morality, and developing mindfulness in daily life. The Buddha taught that craving and attachment are the root causes of suffering. When people cling to impermanent things, whether material possessions, fame, or even life itself, they create conditions for future dissatisfaction and anxiety. By practicing detachment and virtuous conduct, one can break free from the cycle of suffering and attain liberation. Moreover, teachings about the peta realm not only serve as a reminder of karma's consequences but also offer a more compassionate perspective on suffering spirits. According to Buddhism, the living can assist these beings through merit-making, performing good deeds, and dedicating merits to them. Instead of fearing death or supernatural forces, Buddhism encourages people to use the present moment to prepare for the future, live virtuously, and build a solid spiritual foundation to attain inner peace and ultimate enlightenment. Ultimately, Buddhism outlines the path to liberation from suffering, fear, and all mental afflictions. This liberation does not come from external sources but is cultivated through mindfulness, meditation, and ethical conduct. These practices enable individuals to develop awareness, understand the true nature of all phenomena, and attain inner peace. Fear of ghosts, like all fears, often arises from ignorance and attachment to unverified beliefs. Buddhism provides methods to overcome fear through the cultivation of wisdom and self-awareness. Instead of seeking to prove or disprove the existence of ghosts, Buddhist teachings encourage individuals to understand the nature of the mind, allowing them to achieve a deeper state of tranquility and insight. Additionally, modern scientific research has demonstrated that mindfulness and meditation can significantly alter how the brain responds to fear. Studies show that meditative practices can reduce activity in the amygdala, the region of the brain responsible for processing fear. This highlights that meditation is not just a spiritual practice but also has neuroscientific benefits, helping individuals regulate their emotions and reactions more effectively. The Buddha's teachings are not intended to create fear of the unseen world but rather to emphasize living a meaningful and purposeful life. Instead of being influenced by uncertainties and unfounded fears, Buddhism encourages individuals to cultivate mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion. The goal is not to chase after supernatural mysteries but to focus on inner transformation, leading to a peaceful and enlightened existence. Buddhism offers a profound and rational approach to the topic of ghosts, guiding individuals away from fear and superstition and toward wisdom, self-awareness, and compassion. Rather than focusing on proving or disproving the existence of spirits, Buddhist teachings emphasize karma, rebirth, and the nature of consciousness, helping us understand that all experiences arise due to causes and conditions. The concept of peta, hungry ghosts, serves as a reminder of the consequences of one's actions, reinforcing the importance of ethical living, mindfulness, and generosity. Instead of fearing spirits, Buddhism encourages us to cultivate kindness and perform meritorious deeds, as these can aid not only the living but also those who have passed on. Furthermore, the practice of mindfulness and meditation allows individuals to transcend irrational fears, gain insight into the workings of the mind, and develop a sense of inner peace. By embracing Buddhist principles, we learn that fear is often a product of ignorance, and the true path to liberation lies in self-transformation and the realization of impermanence. Ultimately, Buddhism teaches that true freedom is found not in seeking answers about the supernatural, but in understanding our own mind and actions. By living with wisdom, ethical integrity, and compassion, we create the conditions for a more peaceful life and a favorable future rebirth. Breaking free from suffering and moving towards spiritual enlightenment. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help spread these valuable teachings. Let us know in the comments, what are your thoughts on the Buddhist perspective on ghosts? Have you ever encountered experiences that made you reflect on karma and rebirth? Also, consider taking a step toward mindfulness and compassion in your daily life. Start by practicing meditation, acts of kindness, and reflecting on the impermanence of all things. Together, we can cultivate wisdom and break free from fear, bringing peace and clarity to our journey in this life and beyond. Thank you for watching, and may you always walk the path of wisdom and compassion.